Welcome gamers to this week's vlog. With time being so critical now on the Ultimate Trophy Hunters Challenge, this week I've purely been focused on earning trophies and decided to tackle one of my longer games as well. So without further ado, let's get straight into it and see what games I've been playing and what trophies I've been earning. My only platinum for this week is on The Escapists: The Walking Dead. The game is a fantastic blend of the extremely fun escapist games and the popular TV show The Walking Dead. You play as Rick in one of 5 different areas where you play out key elements of the TV show, and the goal is to navigate around the different locations to find materials that you can then use to craft weapons and other tools, and these will help you being able to survive and escape to the next area as the story plays out. The first tutorial level is set in the hospital that Rick wakes up from his coma in, with the goal of escaping the hospital and be reunited with his family. You then progress on to Hershel's farm, followed by the Merryweather prison, Woodbury, and finally Alexandria. After escaping each area, a small part of the story is played out in a kind of storyboard fashion, setting up the next area, and many of the characters featured in the TV show appear at different points. Unlike the traditional escapist game, the prison guards are basically replaced with walkers who are tough and will kill you very quickly, so getting yourself a good weapon and improving your strength stat as soon as possible is advisable. The usual day cycle of attending roll call, or in this case head count to confirm everyone is still alive, along with attending meals and doing various jobs throughout the day, will keep your friends happy and feeling safe, and this will keep the walker threat level low. However, if you miss any of these, then each time you do, it will increase the walker threat level, making more and more walkers appear and making your friends feel more uncomfortable, unhappy and unsafe. If any of your friends die, then like in the show, they too will become a walker as well. You're also scored at the end of each level with a 3-star rating depending on how you performed. An alternative survival mode is also included, which, like the name implies, is a wave-based mode where the goal is to survive for as long as possible, with trophies being given for getting 3 stars on each of the different survival maps. I really enjoyed my time with The Escapists: The Walking Dead, and in fact I really enjoyed my time with all 3 The Escapists games, and after also having recently completed the other 2 games in the Escapist series, this now completes the full game series for me in the Ultimate Trophy Hunters Challenge. The second game I played this week is Bubble Bobble. So what can I say about this arcade classic that you may not already know? Well, first, it was released by Taito in 1986 as an arcade cabinet, and I pumped so many 10p's into this legendary game back in the day. The game is a classic 1 or 2 player platformer where you take control of one of 2 dragons, Bub, the green one, assigned to player 1, and Bob, the blue one, assigned to player 2. Over the years, the game has been ported to pretty much every console you can think of, but as a kid, the one that I played it the most on was the Commodore Amiga. I don't remember now what level out of the 100 that I ever made it up to back in the day, but it was pretty high, although one item drop in the game can skip you forward a few levels at a time, so that probably would have helped. There is actually a basic story involved as well, where you essentially have to navigate through the Cave of the Monsters to save your girlfriends, Betty and Patty, where each level becomes progressively harder. And the goal is to clear the screen of every enemy by trapping them in a bubble that you blow from your mouth, and then popping the bubble to destroy the monster. And then once all monsters have been cleared, you then advance to the next level, with there being 100 levels in total, with the final level featuring a boss. There are 3 different endings to the game as well. The bad ending is if you complete the game solo and so only rescue Bub's girlfriend Betty, leaving Bob's girlfriend Patty trapped, and you then receive a message advising that you should never forget your friends and suggest that you come back and play with a friend. The good ending is if you do actually complete the game in co-op, thus saving both Betty and Patty, and you will also be given a code which unlocks Super Mode. Upon then completing the game co-op in Super Mode, you will then unlock the true ending, where not only are your girlfriends saved, your parents will also be transformed back to human form and you are reunited with them. I have so much nostalgia for Bubble Bobble, and its simple gameplay is so addictive. The version I played this week is the PlayStation version, and it's called Arcade Archives Bubble Bobble. It is a 100% no platinum trophy list, and that is the 6th out of the 10 that I needed to complete for my Ultimate Trophy Hunters Challenge. The port is a very faithful representation of the original arcade game and is also currently on sale and very cheap on PSN. So if you've never played this legendary arcade classic, then I highly recommend that you give it a try on whatever gaming format you prefer. The third game I've been playing this week is Elden Ring. Having already gotten the platinum for Elden Ring on the PS5 about 18 months ago, plus enjoying it so much then I purposely made it my 225th milestone platinum, I decided to go for the PS4 platinum as well as part of my Ultimate Trophy Hunters Challenge this year. I've mentioned in a previous video that when I originally played through the PS5 version, I went with a Battle Mage build, which was a lot of fun to use, and I was able to really experiment with a lot of the different types of spells. I also mentioned I played through solo. However, community member Midbacker was also playing solo at the same time. So rather than playing co-op and have to beat the bosses twice to be able to complete them in each of our worlds, we instead would share our screens with each other and go through each of the areas at the same time and fight the bosses in our own worlds to see who would be the one to beat the boss first. This was a great way to experience the game, and Vidbacker used a completely different build to mine, going with a melee bleed build that looked a lot of fun to use. So for this current PS4 playthrough, I decided to also go with a melee bleed build myself. I went with a samurai starting class, and after securing the Bloodhound Fang, which has a good bleed effect, I also decided to find and use the Great Turtle Shield, which, although I'm not using as an actual shield due to the fact that I always double handle the Bloodhound Fang for its special moves, the Great Turtle Shield does come with a passive buff to your stamina recovery, which is also a really good thing to have. So instead of running around the lands between as a teenage mutant ninja turtle, you could say that I'm actually an old age mutant samurai turtle instead. I have to say that I'm really having a lot of fun playing through Elden Ring again, and I hope to be able to report that I've managed to secure the platinum for next week's vlog, as I'm doing quite well at the moment and managed to get quite far into the game with a number of the bosses now beaten. So taking a quick look at PSN profiles, let's have a recap of the trophies I've earned this week. Starting off last Saturday, where I booted up The Escapist, The Walking Dead, and I played that through till I got the platinum midweek. You can see on Monday I actually did boot up Lego Marvel Superheroes Universe in Peril on the Vita and popped one trophy. That's a game I'm going to be playing over the coming weeks on and off while I have little bits of downtime when I'm out and about. After getting the platinum for The Escapist, The Walking Dead, I booted up Elden Ring and I was working my way through that. I had one trophy already popped on that, so it was part of my backlog, and essentially I've been going through on a bit of a boss run once I got my build. I took a quick break for about 2.5 hours to get Bubble Bobble at 100%. This is a no platinum game, so the hardest trophy in that was to get to 300,000 points, which is around about sort of level 15, so not particularly difficult. It's not that bad to get the 100% for this particular game. Then back onto Elden Ring, and if you know about Elden Ring, you'll be able to tell from the trophy names what point in the game I've got to, with the Erdtree of Flame being the last trophy I got, which was in the early hours of Saturday morning. And that leaves me with currently 316 platinums and a trophy completion percentage of 84.28 at the moment. Well, it's that part of the vlog now where I answer questions from my Discord community, with this week another couple of questions from the dog playing. And the first question is, as you have played a lot of difficult games, what advice have you got for someone that is perhaps struggling with a certain part or trophy? So the biggest advice I can give for anything difficulty related when it comes to gaming is essentially just don't give up and let the game win. It's that old adage of practice makes perfect, and that rings so true for gaming. So the more you practice something, the better you're going to get in general. But when you're playing games that are sort of like got difficulty spikes, whether that's a racing game where you're struggling to hit a time or a boss that you're struggling to beat, the more you practice it, obviously the better you're going to get. And the main reason for that is because you're slowly building up muscle memory, and it's the muscle memory that's the key thing that I think will get most people through any difficult sort of spike in any game. And you persevere with the game, don't give up on it, build up that muscle memory, and I'm pretty sure most people could beat most games. There are a few exceptions, and sometimes it's just down to the fact that to build up enough muscle memory, it's just going to take you way too long to be able to play enough to do that. And sometimes people are just not able to actually commit the amount of time that is required to be able to build up enough muscle memory to do it. And there's nothing you can really do about that, especially if it's a game that you're not enjoying as much. But if it's a game that you really enjoy, just keep playing it. It doesn't matter how long it takes, even if you keep playing it on and off for over a year. Just never give up on it. Just keep going at it. Build up that muscle memory slowly, and essentially I'm sure most people will be able to get through and beat most difficult sort of games and difficulty spikes within games. So I hope that answers your first question. This week's second question is, what's the most emotional moment that I've experienced in a game? So to be honest, emotions in video games is a little bit strange because emotions are for real life for me, and video games are my escape from real life. So I don't really get that emotionally invested into the actual game. So I had to really think hard about this. But I've been gaming for over 45 years, and I have to say that in all that time I've played so many different things that I've attached great memories to, and that's where I think the emotion of happiness comes from, because the amount of times I play things in games where I feel happy because it reminds me of such a good sort of time I had in the past, either playing with friends, playing with family, or just playing on my own, but it was such an enjoyable part of my life. So the nostalgia factor, there are huge amounts of sort of different moments that I've had where I felt really happy playing something because of the memories it gives me from when I had really good times in the past. And as an example of that, people that are regulars of the channel will know that my love of the game Elite on the Commodore 64 that I played as a teenager, and when Elite Dangerous came out, the nostalgia hit I got from getting into the Cobra Mark III for the first time, playing that and just sort of reliving my childhood just made me so happy. So that probably is the most emotional moment of happiness that I've had in any video game. But even this week, where I was playing Bubble Bobble for the Ultimate Trophy Hunters Challenge, I got a massive nostalgia hit from that. I play it every now and then, but every time I do, it just takes me back to my childhood of playing in those 80s arcades or playing at home on my Commodore Amiga. And it's just such a sort of like endorphin sort of rush of memories that, it's, if you can call that an emotion, then I think those are the sort of things that happen all the time because of nostalgia and memory of really good times I had. The biggest one though was probably that Elite Dangerous one, where I got in that Cobra Mark III for the very first time in that game, and I just got hit by a wave of nostalgia that has never been surpassed by any other game. So I hope that answers your question.
Oh, they're adorable.
Oh, and remember Bionic Man? Remember Chewbacca again? Oh, I love to remember Chewbacca. Hey.
So that's it for another week's vlog, and I really hope you enjoyed it. As always, I want to take this opportunity to say a very big thank you to these gaming legends you can currently see on screen, who are my Patreon supporters and members of my Discord community. If this is something that interests you and you'd like to get involved, then please follow the link in the description for my Patreon. Likes and subscribe to the channel are always greatly appreciated if you haven't already done so. And I really do enjoy reading all of your comments and reply to every single one. So please let me know what games you're playing, the platinums you've been earning, plus also, do you get emotional with your games? And what's the hardest game that you've ever done and how did you get through it? Please let me know in the comments. With all that being said, please enjoy your games, take care and look after yourselves.